First up, news coming in from down south. The Tamil Nadu nurse protests have entered day 4 with over 3,000 contractual government nurses on a hunger strike since early this morning. 2 rounds of inconclusive discussions between the government and the nurses associations have already taken place, but the stalemate still continues. Nurses are demanding permanent jobs and better salary from the health department officials. Now, due to the ongoing strike, medical services in government hospitals, especially in the primary rural health centre, have been hit. The State Health Secretary is likely to meet the protesting nurses on the 4th of December. Right, those are the visuals of the DMS campus where thousands of nurses have congregated. This is day 4 of the strike that we're reporting to you. Since this early morning, the nurses have intensified their protest. They've gone now on a hunger strike, putting further pressure on the state government, demanding better pay and regularity of services. They are, remember, all contractual nurses who want that their jobs be made permanent, as well as a hike in salaries, what they're demanding. But just look at the number of nurses that have turned up. This, of course, in effect, is having a direct impact on the medical services of the state, which seem to have been hit to a large extent. Shabir joining us now for further inputs. Shabir, these are massive numbers that have turned up at the DMS campus. What sort of communication has been coming in from the state government so far?
Well, the talks between the state government and the striking nurses have failed. There were two or three rounds of talks that took place yesterday and day before yesterday, and all these talks have been inconclusive. So the nurses have clearly, informed the authorities that they are not going to withdraw the protest. They are going to continue the protest. And even as we speak, inside this particular campus, there are at least 3,000 nurses who have been protesting. But the Chennai police seems to be, blocking the media. The Chennai police has not allowed the media to, go inside and cover the protest because the Chennai police says that they have got instructions from their higher-ups, from the minister's office, not to allow the media inside. And for the past 3 days, media has been waiting outside this particular premises, asking the authorities to give them permission to cover the protest. So this is the manner in which the Tamil Nadu government is trying to suppress any information regarding this protest, and the only point of communication between the journalist and those who are protesting here is the videos and messages that are being forwarded by the nurses who are inside, and also at the same point of time we are getting to know that toilets have been shut, water supply has been cut down in this particular campus, so that this could create some amount of pressure on these nurses to give up their protest. But despite all that, these nurses have made it very clear that they are no mood to relent. They are going to go ahead and they are going to continue this agitation until their demands are met. So what we are seeing on our screens is the kind of deployment here at the DMS campus, where more than 3,000 nurses have been protesting for the past 3 days, and today they have begun their indefinite hunger strike, demanding regularization of their services. These are all contract, these are all nurses who have been employed on contract basis, and because of this prolonged protest that has been going on for the past few days in different forms, the primary health centers, they are the worst affected. The people, the common man, is at the end of the day is affected because of this ongoing protest. And the manner in which the Tamil Nadu government has been handling this issue, particularly the health department, has raised several questions as to what exactly, why can't the Tamil Nadu government give them some kind of assurance, and why can't the Tamil Nadu government engage them in some kind of talks so that this issue can be resolved amicably. But at this point in time, the Tamil Nadu government says that they have done everything possible to pacify these nurses, these striking nurses. but at this point in time they are not ready for any kind of talks. But despite that, despite the assurances that have been made by the officials and the officers of the Tamil Nadu government, these nurses have decided that they are going to continue with their protest until their demands are met, until there is a government order saying that their jobs will be regularized and there will be some amount of assurance is what these nurses want.
Absolutely. Shabir Ahmed, do stay with us. Shabir Ahmed, right outside the DMS campus. Remember that media is not allowed to enter that campus. That is where those massive number of protesting nurses are present. They've intensified their protest. They've gone on a hunger strike. But the government on its end also employing and deploying more pressure tactics. What we're given to understand is that basic amenities such as access to washrooms, toilets, water have not been provided to these protesting nurses. Shabir, you mentioned that 2 rounds of discussion has already taken place from the state government's end, where the health department have spoken to certain members of the Nurses Association, which have ended inconclusively. What have been the sticking points so far? What are the demands, and what is it that the state government refusing to relent to?
Well, the nurses want their jobs to be made permanent because they are on contract basis, and for the past several years they have been employed on a contractual basis. So they want their jobs to be regularized, and that is their main demand. And as far as salary is concerned, they want their salaries to be increased with par with government servants. So all these demands have been placed before the committee that has been formed to engage in talks with these striking nurses. But despite that, despite several assurances that have been made by the Tamil Nadu government officials, these nurses are in no mood to relent. So clearly at this point in time, the Tamil Nadu government does not know as to how to handle this situation, how to ensure that these nurses withdraw their protest, because there seems to be some amount of discomfort that is brewing at the grassroots level, that is at the primary health centers where there are no nurses, and people are getting affected because of this ongoing agitation. And here at the DMS campus, which houses almost all departments of medical all departments of medical services in Tamil Nadu. Here the problem is that at least 3,000 nurses are right now present inside, and they have been laying siege to this building for the past 3 days. And despite several rounds of talks, these nurses are in no mood to relent. In fact, their family members have been waiting outside. They want to gain access into this building. They want to gain entry into this building, but they have also been stopped by the police officials here. But the blame game is on. Why is the media being blocked outside this particular premises is the question that is being raised by many, because the media is simply doing its duty. The media's job is to cover any kind of protest that is happening here in Tamil Nadu or in any part of country. But police says that they have got clear instructions from the higher ups not to allow the media inside, because if the media is allowed inside, then probably the striking nurses will intensify their protest just because they want some kind of media publicity. So that seems to be their bizarre theory of these cops here. But clearly the cops are trying to do everything possible to keep media at bay from covering this particular protest that is going on inside this campus.
All efforts there being made by the state government, the authorities, to suppress the protests as much as possible. Media has been not allowed to enter the DMS campus, as Shabir is pointing towards. But clearly the protests are, in any case, intensifying as hunger strikes. Some of those nurses, thousands of them, in fact, have gone on a hunger strike since this morning, indicating that they are in no mood to relent anytime soon.